For those of you guys checking in on the replay, it's going to be a few minutes before I get into what I'm going to be talking about here. Just waiting to see if a few people can get up in here. Backwoods, what's up? Just stopping in here real quick to talk about some questions people had asked me and talk about some stuff that got sprung on me when I came home. I am enjoying my time off. I mean, this time I was like, you know what? I've been slacking too much, so I've been hitting the gym every day. Not like I used to. I used to be a 2 a day kind of person back in the days. What's up, Billy Wheeler? OTC, what's up? So, Leah, how's that weather going out there? I don't know where you're at. Myra's been comfortably down there in Arkansas, Oklahoma, all that lately, so I've been happy about that. All right, shoot. Well, this is enough to kind of get started. First of all, shout out to all you guys putting in that work in that bad weather. I have no, man, I'm seeing people driving across Donner Pass, and well, it's good that Wisconsin's okay and all that stuff, but I've been seeing videos of people driving down Donner Pass, needing to chain up and all that kind of stuff. 80s getting closed down because of wind, and uh, 80s getting shut down because of wind, snow, and all that kind of stuff. So I've just been extremely happy that Myra has been down in Oklahoma, Arkansas, bouncing back and forth between there. So I'm good with that. But adult beverage, not really. This is kind of okay. There's this weak ass vodka brand named Pinnacle. My wife went and bought this stuff it wasn't meant to be the vodka itself. It was a habanero vodka. So it's been sitting there and I've been thinking about getting it. So there was like some margarita stuff in the refrigerator. So I decided to mix it. That's what we got. So tell my wife before I get home, get the kids together, all this kind of stuff, and let's go out and have like a dinner, something like that. So we go to this place. Now, the first thing I'm noticing, it's like a seafood place where, it's kind of like Joe's Crab Shack, except not shitty. And I'm looking at them prices, and I'm like, man, this is going to be about $400 before we leave here, which wasn't that big of a deal, but I might have chose a different place. But while we're sitting up there, first of all, let me just show you what my wife it kind of got me or did for me for Christmas. Now, I bought this here. This is a United States Marine Corps, hoodie with this. My wife could have easily done this on her embroidery machine or whatever, but she's testing out some stuff, so she got the little Wu-Tang thing on this Dickies shirt with it says USMC kind of in there. So she got that, but that isn't where the surprise came in. Here goes the fucking surprise right here. I don't know if you can read that shit or not. I'm not sure I was like really wanting that surprise, to be honest with you, or ready for it, but it is kind of what it is. So there you go. So apparently a motherfucker's gonna be a grandfather or something like that. So the next step I'm gonna have is a dinner out with this dude, mano y mano, to make sure we're on the same page as far as money goes and what my expectations are as far as raising a family and shit like that. So we'll be having that discussion here shortly. All right, let's see. 70 westbound. Coming across 70 into Denver is always a stupid move. It's not like unwarranted, it's actually stupid. Do you stay out of the Northeast during the winter? I really don't like going to the Northeast in the summer, but I'd rather be in the Northeast in the winter than the Northwest in the summer. That's for sure. It's not that it's not one thing about the Northeast I don't like. Like it's not. It's just an abundance. I've said this in other videos. Everything looks drabby out there. Everything is all old and shit. It's just like not enough parking. The shippers and receivers were built in like 1928. You know, there's a number of different reasons. And, you know, it's really not that much better. So there's really no reason to go out there. What's up, Wombats? Leah. Okay, they offered me a Colorado load out of Springfield. I said no. Actually, I would have taken that load because there's no problems in the problems in Colorado start at the mountains. So it depends on where you were going out here. That was the problem. And usually if you get a load out of Colorado, you're going to be headed east. So I think you missed an opportunity there, Leah, to be honest with you. Tim travels. I-24 in Kentucky was sunny earlier, but now it's dank and scary. I had to shut down. What is that, Tim? Is it snow, rain? What's going on out there? 71 out there. I never realized it was as bad as it was until I got stuck out there and I got turned on to this Facebook page that was all about I-71 between, well, I-71 in general, but most of the people that were posting on it were posting between Louisville and Cincinnati. I didn't realize that was such a shit show. Oh, it'll change my life, bro. Okay, so Johnny on the flip side said, it'll change your life, brother. I'm just hoping it doesn't make me broke because my wife is out there trying to do every damn thing else. All right, looks sunny over there. Yeah, Johnson's Logic. We're trying to figure out what's going on with this little plan that you have after you sold. Are you going to be Captain Johnson here pretty soon? Is that what the deal is? Out there running and gunning in them friendly skies and shit? Leah, Colorado, like I said, I usually restrict or try to keep my driving from Cheyenne or basically Denver, same line, east. So once you get past that where you're really not, you're in, that's where I just don't like it. So let's talk about some of the stuff people had said, okay? Because I don't want to drag this on too long. But some people had asked me about this driver advisory board and should go do that or whatever. First of all, it's not as easy as just saying, hey, I'm going to go do the drive. It's not like becoming a trucker to get on the driver advisory board. You just don't say it. That's what I'm going to do. That's the first reason. Second reason, I don't think that I've like earned it, you know. All these people have been at Prime for all these years, stuff like that. I haven't earned that right to be on the driver advisory board. And to be honest with you, I enjoy floating under the radar. You know, I enjoy not having the eyes of Prime necessarily on me. Okay, it's not gonna be. You're not gonna be a pilot. All right, I guess we'll see here pretty soon. But yeah, so I really have no desire. I mean, you know what? Let's not say that. There are times that I wish I could be on the driver advisory board to bring up stuff that I think are issues, but I think that could go wrong as soon as things aren't getting done. And I'm not talking, you know, people ask about such stupid shit. You know, like, how come there's not, you know, a wash, you know, you can wash your dogs out here and do this. You know, I'm not worried about the little shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about the big shit. So some of the stuff that I would have brought to the driver advisory board, if that stuff hadn't gotten taken care of, I would really not, like, I don't even want to run the risk of being disappointed of going and trying to be on the driver advisory board. it's not okay, Tim. It's not, or Terry. It's not a matter of me thinking that I don't meet the time requirements, because that is what I feel in my heart, not necessarily what is written in stone as far as company policy goes. I could have trained a lot earlier than I trained, because I had a guy that I would definitely have liked to train, Big H Trucking, if you've seen him around. Uh, I think I had about, I'd been in training for damn near 7 months. Yeah, 7 months. I got the truck. I went out to Piston maybe 3 months after I got my first truck. So, well, way more than enough time to be training, considering I spent so long in training. But I declined to do that because I felt like I didn't want to do that until I had at least a year in solo before I even thought about training. My biggest fear was me being a trainer and having some student out backing me. All right, let's get back to this other stuff. Now, what I do like about the driver advisory board is open bar, free food, free hotel. I'll take all that. Yeah, Wombats is right. Just like trucking as a change of lifestyle, driver advisory board is a completely different life. You have to be on your P's and Q's 24 hours a day. And like I said, I would hold myself to standards. It would be a commitment. So if I say I'm gonna be there for however long it's gonna be, then I would be there for however long it's gonna be. It would not just be like this other opportunity. It would almost be like a contract. No hippie didn't want to train me either. Man, I've said that to a lot of people. And then the one person I trained, he wore me down for, 3 months to do it. Now he's unhappy being a truck driver, so I'm not sure that I made the right move training because he was a great student, but bringing him into an industry that he just doesn't like probably wasn't the best thing. And we're talking about land shark transportation. Okay, we need a few drivers with life experience other than trucking on DAB. Some of them have been at Prime for 25 years and have no idea and is happy with the status quo. I kind of can see that, but I kind of think that the people that are there are really trying. I know that, there were 3 people that were there that left, a lot sooner than what they were supposed to be there. And I just don't want to even put myself in that position. So, all right, let's see. Freight is tight, yet we have all these A trucks taking our freight. How does that make sense? Michael Page, things were all great over here at No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Myra just came off a good week. I came off a decent week coming into the house. Now, I did get that $68 check because of some unfortunate events that happened, but it wasn't that the freight was slow. As a matter of fact, shoot, if anybody knows Myra, she's been running so hard that she actually, when she got done with her last load, she put her PTA out 24 hours so she could rest. So it's not, like I said, maybe I'm lucky, I don't know. Yes, that's what. See, Wombats is right. I'm not trying to go through all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. If they accept a special guest at that open bar, I could go up there and have a few words to say. Yeah, Rich's River Smokers, he's doing all right. So Terry, Tim Travels, he's been doing good. I know that Brandy, who is on my fleet as well, she's doing well. So I haven't seen the slowdown. I keep saying I haven't seen it, and I really haven't. The slowdown was when I got stuck in that snow. That's when the slowdown was, not because of freight or anything like that. Springville, Utah on a load is mad foggy. You know where I don't want to go in Utah is where's that JBS plant? Hiram? Boy, if it snows out there, you know you're gonna be fucking with some chains going up that upgrade out there. Yeah, everybody's saying that we're doing fine out here on the regular fleet, so I don't know. Yep, can't go wrong with Myra on anything. Uh, Currently waiting on a tow because the stupid wiper motor went out. Listen, Myra came out to Denver the day before I came on home time, parked at our new Denver yard. If any of you guys have been there in the winter, that place is straight ice. I have a 4x4 Dodge Dakota, just like the one they're giving away for Christmas, except the older model, and that wasn't even getting traction out there. So I had to pay $560 for her to get towed out of there to go drop off a load. So I feel your pain on a tow. Okay, coming out of Chico, California. I love that load, that Nevada beer. Nevada, what's that beer called? Nevada, whatever that beer is that comes out of Chico, California. I don't know if that's what you're taking, but I like that. Would you go Seattle and run 90? This is my first time going 90. Wanted to get your comment. Here's the difference that I feel between 80 and 90 because you're going to have to take one of those two. It really only makes sense to take one of those two. 90, the weather can be worse, but the traffic is less. And even though there's not as big a distance between cities on 90, so usually they get handled a little bit better as far as, snow plows, things like that. So if it's bad weather and my choices are 80 or 90, I'm always going to take 90. That being said, 90 is where I almost jackknife in Montana or South Dakota, one of those places coming down that steep downgrade. But still, less traffic, which means less people driving like idiots, and more cities along the route. 90 is the play for me. I sometimes wonder if lease operators see slowdown before company drivers. I don't know. I don't worry about what anybody else is really getting paid. As a matter of fact, I stopped even talking about the pay because I don't think unless somebody's talking about 18 months of their settlements, you're not getting a true payout anyway. So you just never really know. But it really doesn't matter. I don't really concern myself with what anybody else is making. I got a 3-stop picking up tomorrow in Greenfield, Indiana. That has to be a perfect load. Once you get past 2 loads for me, there's got to be extenuating circumstances for me to want to drop 3. And that could, like I said, I never turn down low because of money, but money could be a reason I take it, or it puts me in a place I like to be. Let's see. Terry's TNT is going to be at 64,000 this week. I'm doing fine too, but keep hearing about how tight freight is. You know what? Freight is. I think that freight keeps getting mentioned. It's sort of like this. So my son, he's becoming an electrician and all that kind of stuff. So he's going through his apprentice thing, and the job that they're trying to give him is up in Colorado Springs, and he's going to basically have to move up there, do short-term living, things like that in order to do that job. And I keep bringing up things to him that maybe aren't necessarily things that I would necessarily worry about just to prepare him for something that might come up, not necessarily saying that that's going to be a reason to. So I think people are talking about freight being tight. Sierra Nevada, that's right. I love that load. So I think they're mentioning that just to kind of prepare people. Oh, I don't take for granted windshield wipers. I bought a damn Explorer one time that the windshield wipers went out. And so I definitely understand that. You might not have been able to replace no wiper blades on Amazon, but I'm sure they had some flip flops for you to buy rocking that Volvo.
How about your wiper blades on Amazon?
We're talking about trucks.
Well, for your Ram.
I know he's talking about a totally different, a semi truck.
I'll go back to love after lockup, okay?
Johnson's Logic coming in with the warranty stuff. Yeah, Sierra Nevada beer is great unless you're running it to the Hickory, uh, North Carolina place. Not necessarily because it's bad. I just don't like messing with 40 all that much, between Tennessee and North Carolina. But, not that it's horrible. I know somebody that has the new Peterbilt, actually the Million Mile Man. He has a brand new Peterbilt. His mirror got broke. I don't know if somebody hit it, whatever it was, but they don't even have the mirror to replace that with. So he's having problems with that. So I'm like, man, why don't you just tell him to put a regular mirror on the side of that truck? Because getting slowed down or put on hold for stupid stuff like that is a problem. What are solo lease getting weekly? I really don't like talking about money. Anybody else wants to talk about the money on there, feel free to do it. But it's enough for me to get by on it. A lot of people out talking about money aren't talking about the downside of it, like $700 tows or $500 tows, or a deer hits your truck, or another driver hits your truck, or you need to get, you have a tire that you need to put on, or I've learned not to do that because I think it sets people's expectations. You should make enough. Peg leg, we were just in your neighborhood and saw the snow. You getting around okay, man? It's usually snow when it happens in Denver is usually in and out. We don't really have like dirty snow out here. We have dirty snow out here. This shit is lingering around like a stale fart. All right, just got a 2023 Freightliner through Prime. Is it me or the cruise control different? The truck goes about 4 miles an hour slower than I set it. I think you might have the settings set a little. I don't know much about the Freightliners, but you might have to go into the settings on the cruise control. I think that you might be able to change it there. You know what? That's smart. Rather than dealing with the loaner truck, sit and get the breakdown pay. Breakdown pay, for people that don't know, essentially is going to be about the equivalent weekly as your truck payment. When my truck went down, well, yeah, when it went down because a driver hit me in St. Louis, a car, they were gonna. I was thinking about getting a loaner truck, but the first thing I do is ask somebody who has more experience. So called Junior Honduras on the phone. I'm like, what's up? Here's here's what's going on. This, that. He said, Junior in his voice, hey man, you don't want to get no loaner truck because as soon as you turn it back in, bro, they're gonna hit you with that cleaning expense. I was like, yeah, let me just take some time off and relax. So that's what I ended up doing. People out there giving advice on the Cascadia cruise control. Okay. Willie is always hanging out at Springfield. The reason he's been hanging out at Springfield is because he's been having problems keeping drivers on that damn truck. And the first one starting off with his damn kid. But that's the reason he's been back there more often than not because he wants to be back there. Willie stays out forever. Like I don't think I've ever seen him actually go home. So uh, I know he's been back to Springfield to deal with things like that, but not because he necessarily wanted to. All right, Johnson's Logic. I'll check y'all later, man. Get that shower. Greenwich Trucking, saying been down a little bit this time of the year, and I will say that I've been down this year. Uh, I got stuck in two places for quite a bit of time for snow. Not a lot of time, but if you take 4 days, that's quite a long time, and you're delivering 2 days late. That's kind of gonna take a. Actually, delivered 2 days late on one, and so basically 5 days, 3 days late on the next load because of weather. That's going to make an impact. And one thing that you realize when you have more than one truck is you don't want them trucks close to each other in the country, because you don't want to be. I mean, I guess in the summer it doesn't matter, but in the winter you do not want two trucks in bad snow and stuff like that. And luckily, Myra hasn't been dealing with snow much this year. Yeah, that Budweiser place in New York, I'm not a huge fan of that either. Uh, yeah, Roger. There's enough to make your lease payments. And I mean, Roger, to be honest with you, it really it really depends on you. It depends on your truck. It depends on a lot of things. It's not just that easy to say here's how much money is made. So, and a lot of times, like I said, it won't come out in the wash for 18 months. You could be running perfectly good and then have some car pull out in front of you, tear your shit up, and now you're. I mean, that's one thing I can say about this industry is it is very fickle, and you could be on the top of the world one day and the bottom of the ocean on the next one. Willie's my man. You know what? To be honest with you, he's kind of like a little bit of a mentor towards me. I wish he was putting out some more videos and stuff. I mean, he is a little bit younger than me, but he is older than me in trucking. So definitely get a lot from him and his brother. All right, let's see. Yeah, bro, check his truck out here. What do you want to be? I was told when I first came to Prime in February that I should be grossing at least $5,000 a week as a lease op, and I'd say, that would be that. I mean, that would be a good number. I mean, the thing is, you're gonna have stuff that might be double that sometimes. You might have stuff that's like half that sometimes. So. Budweiser loads, that shit's like doing the hokey pokey. You got to go there and they tell you all these fucking things you got to do and you got to remember all that. Man, I don't like it. And to me, it's stupid to go in and have to weigh your truck, not to weigh your truck for you to go pick up your load that's already preloaded. If they were gonna load the trailer after your truck got weighed, that would make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to just weigh a load or weigh your truck after the thing is already weighed. That's like, taking off your rubber after the fact or before whatever. You get my point. Yeah, people worried about Prime's incentive. That's some stupid shit right there. Is lease purchase still on? I don't know what's going on with the lease purchase. I heard they might have paused it, but right now it seems like the market is opened up enough to where uh, it should be out there. I've kind of thought about maybe just doing one more. You know, one good thing about Willie, and I talked to him quite a bit, him and his brother, is he's not shy to tell you about learning from his mistakes. Yeah, one thing that I think that they keep talking about this lease purchase, you need to have leased with Prime for 6 months. And I know when I came through, they're going to allow me to do it right off the bat. Had I had some balls or kind of knew about it, I would have probably done it, but I didn't want to. I was a little bit more conservative than I should have been on that. Uh, but they will let you, if they have the program, come straight out the box, straight out of TNT and do it. But you can't be there and be like, I got like $5,000 in the bank, and you got to roll in there with a little bit of money, and they'll let you go straight lease purchase. Oh yeah, I never. I've only scaled like maybe 5 times the entire time I've been in Prime. Once was, well, actually twice. Once was when I first got my first Peterbilt, and I wanted to know what the weight of the truck would be, full of fuel, full of def, and full of fuel on a trailer. So I got that scale ticket. One time out, or 2 times I was overweight, so I had to get a scale ticket. Uh, Maybe 3 times. So 3 times I was overweight, and I think one time I might have been just. I think I might have just been a bitch on one and went and got it, and I was okay. Didn't trust my shit, so I'm really not one to be out there just scaling all over the place. Budweiser weighs trailers that haven't been to their facility, so they know how much they can load on it. Yeah, but we're not talking about the trailers. We're talking about the trucks. So if the trailer is already loaded, what does it matter how much my truck weighs? Either I'm over or I'm not. At that point, if they had said, hey, we're going to load your trailer, but we need to know how much your truck weighs first, that makes sense. No hippie, you going to win one of them. Man, the fix is already in. I'm already going to win that Dodge. And the worst thing about it, couldn't it have been something else? I got another Dodge Hemi sitting right out here. So it's basically the same thing I got, newer and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the fix is in. So I don't want to disrespect him or anything like that. So I'll probably keep the truck, maybe sell mine, something like that. And another one of the things I want to talk about was don't get trapped in this business. I see a lot of people that have came into trucking, and just on YouTube, I'm not going to be mentioning channel names or anything like that, but they come into trucking, they start making all this money they never made before, and then all of a sudden, things aren't working out. They're away from home too much, whatever's going on, and now all of a sudden they want to get out of the business, but they've dug themselves such a deep hole buying all these cars and all this kind of stuff, and they can't get out. And my thing is, just be sensible with your money when you're out here so you have a way to get out. And one thing I was thinking about today, a lot of people have asked me what's going on with my old student, or not Tim Travels, but Land Shark Transportation. Still talk to him a little bit, and he did a post on Facebook, and he's not all that happy about the trucking industry. So he was talking about the time and stuff that you put into the trucking industry. And one thing I was saying is not every he was lucky to come from a job that made a lot of money, so it's easier for him to make that switch back. But one thing I would say is being frugal and not wasting a lot of money on different things, whether it's cars, houses. I really don't necessarily have a problem with because they're going to go up in value. But the amount of money that you spend on stuff, there's a direct correlation between money and time. So whether it's in the trucking industry or whatever. So if you come into the trucking industry and you go and waste a lot of money on cars and stuff that's depreciating in value, all that kind of stuff, that just means that you're going to spend more time. Either you could break it down however you want, but the way I look at it is me not buying a lot of shit now is saving me a lot of time down the road. So I'm trying to. It takes discipline to not want to go out there and buy all the shit that you can buy. But I see that happening a lot in the trucking industry, and it happened to me when I was in car sales, because that's one thing they used to always tell you: go out, buy yourself a new house, go out and buy yourself a new car, because you're gonna be making all this money. And you kind of live by that, and it used to be a sense of pride back in the days. Back in the mid '90s, oh, I need to make $2,300 a month before I even break even, and all this kind of stuff. And now I look back at that, and if somebody's glorifying how much you need to spend to break even, that's some stupid shit right there. Okanite or whatever that is. That was one of the last loads I just pulled coming into the crib. I think I took one from, I forget. I pulled that load. I love that load too. Where did I pick that up at? Because it was a place I normally wouldn't pick it up. But I pull up there, and the guy's like, what trailer do you want? He had like 3 trailers, and one was like a 223, one was like a 170, one's like a 180. It's like, I'll take the 223. Oh, I was in Texas. That's right. I picked that up in Texas and took it out to, fuck, where did I take that shit to? Anyway, love that load. I hear you on that. Wombat's not naming the truck. Apples out of Winnetachi or whatever that's called, or another pet peeve. I don't like going to Washington as it is, regardless of the time of year. So if I'm getting anything out of Washington, I'm kind of happy if I'm just getting out of there. And there have been quite a few people that are coming back to, or I don't know if they're able to come back to Prime. I know 2 people that wanted to come back to Prime. One I know got the no. So one couldn't come back, and then one I haven't heard anything about yet. So let's see. Beer loads don't surge. I haven't really felt anything surge yet, so I don't know. I just don't like beer loads. The one beer load, Sierra Nevada, that's the one beer load that's okay. That's the one beer load where they don't make you go in there and do a whole bunch of shit. Like, you need to have like a photographic memory to go do some shit at like Budweiser. As many hoops they got you jumping through out there. Can you give any advice on taxes? I signed up for Abacus when I signed my lease, but I'm kind of scared. I may owe a lot. I've never had to do a job where I had to pay taxes outright. Abacus does fine by me. A lot of people are saying they're too conservative. I don't see it because I write off more shit than just about anybody, whether it's not necessarily just between everything that I got. So rental property, uh, other income coming in, and then my wife's W 2, and then me. Everything I put down on that damn list, they accept. As a matter of fact, they're actually pushing the envelope on me. And I've actually declined to take some other write offs that I could take just because I didn't feel that I don't want to put myself on the radar to get audited because, sometimes, I might dabble in that gray area a little bit depending on what's going on. But as far as owing a lot, what I do is I signed up for their highest plan. I don't even know how much it costs, but they send you a statement once a quarter, tell you what it is. They ask if you want to pay the full amount or whatever. They can take it right out of your paycheck, pay them directly. So that's why I signed up for it, because I never did quarterly taxes because that's just too much work dealing with that quarterly. So the main reason I signed up for that was just to have them pay it directly out. So any advice I would say is just pay it quarterly, set aside the money, and you'll be good to go. Talking about Apple loads, I really don't mess with Apple loads all that much. Okay. Trucker Pete talking about not worrying about any money going on his yacht because he doesn't have a yacht. Pretty clever there. I have hauled some of them chemical bins, but I've never felt a surge in those. But maybe that's because I'm just that careful of a driver. I don't know. I know you're a door swinger, but would you ever do flatbed? Man, I'm 54 years old. It's hard enough goddamn work doing reefer. No, thank you. 50 plus trucker, what's up? That's my same dog. She's getting old, man. She's well, I got the two dogs. One is she might be on her last little ride around the sun here, unfortunately. She's not doing all that well. John Fornwall, been Freightliner in Kalamazoo since Saturday. Dash lit up like a Christmas tree. Got to be here till Wednesday waiting for diagnostic repairs. Gonna get plenty of that good rest and relaxation. And since you're a company driver, you're gonna be getting paid some of that. Don't you get paid like downtime or breakdown pay, something like that? Yes, you can write off more taxes. There used to be a time back before this new tax thing came to play. Within when did that happen? 2017 or whatever that happened, where you could itemize as a W 2 employee. That went away. Well, that's good, Rich. If I was you, I'd just start putting some money in the stock market. I opened up a new account, or my wife did back when COVID first started. We started putting some money into that. And that, some people would look at it and be like, wow, but you're investing this money and the market's going down. I think I'm down, depends on the day, about $1,700, but I'm buying all this shit so cheap. So when the market turns around, it is going to be like incredible. I mean, I'm buying like a ton of Amazon, ton of Apple, a ton, I'm going to start loading up on Berkshire. Uh, Shit, man, I'm just waiting for the market to turn around. Daddy Dutch Barbecue, what's up? My boy from the islands says, what's up, respect? He's out at Hirschbach, so he's enjoying it over there. Prime is the only company out there that you could go with. I mean, I'm all about the ink, but there's other places where I find people happy too. 50 plus trucker, I know that he's happy over at Melton, but he was doing good, if I remember correctly, over at Swift. So different strokes for different folks. Sam Adams out of PA. You know what? I've never seen that load, but I did drive by that. There was a facility that I saw that I thought was a very nice looking facility that would probably be a good facility to load out of. Yeah, just like if anybody on here wants to know about investing and actually likes to listen to old funny people, Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, those two guys together are hilarious. Munger by itself is just hilarious, but one of the things Warren Buffett says is everybody's happy when a restaurant or a store has a sale, but when the stock market has a sale, nobody likes it. Buy all that shit you can right now. That's what I'm doing, loading up. I mean, it takes a certain amount of discipline to see that, But when you start looking at the projections, that's when you're like, okay, we're about to double up here real quick. And if the market declines 22% this year, I'm telling you, I'm going to be loading up on all that Amazon, all that Apple, all that Microsoft. I mean, that Berkshire probably do that. That has a little railroad stuff in there. I might just do that on its own. Yeah, Lenny, bye. I'm not all about that crypto, though. I don't get. The only thing about that crypto stuff that I liked is the technology that goes with it. The mindset that goes with investing in it, to me, just makes absolutely no fucking, like, it makes no sense to me how that's even like a thing. Like, I don't know. But if that's your thing and if it's down, now's the time to buy it. And really, to be honest with you, when I'm talking about the stocks being down, really we aren't down that much on the stocks that we actually bought that were like real stocks. We took a few flyers on some stocks, like some shit that was like speculative. Those are really the stocks that are down for the most part, not the good shit. Yeah, we have about a 10-year horizon on them stocks, so it's not like anything that needs. And my wife was looking at her 401k, and the 401k is looking all shitty and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? It's better this happen now, because you don't want that stock market. You don't want that drop in the market to happen when you're actually in retirement. So this is perfect. Let us go through this shit now, and then by the time we're ready to retire, we're going to be back on that roll again, unless something else happens. Yeah, I forgot what Charlie Munger said about crypto. I think he said something like buying crypto is like buying a turd and having to convince somebody else that trying to convince somebody else to pay more for that piece of turd than you paid for it. Something like that. I didn't get it, but now I'm not saying you can't make money in it. I'm just saying that one of the things that they actually spoke about when they were talking about crypto wasn't necessarily just the money aspect. They'd also spoke about, do I want to invest in a company that allows like kidnappers and stuff like that to get paid out. I mean, it was more than just. I mean, financially they didn't think it made sense, but ethically either. I don't know about that stock right there, but yeah, right now we're just pretty much on them big stocks. I have got on a few little stocks, hoping they come around at some point, but if it doesn't really matter to me. Hey, Mason, never mind. But people, one of the other things I want to talk about was, let me check my battery right quick. Was people are trying to give me all these other places to work at and places that they work at, because I'd done a video where I was critical about some of the things that went on in Prime. Me being critical about what's going on in Prime has nothing to do with me not being happy with the company, not planning on being with the company forever or anything, or at least till I retire or whatever. These are things that I felt needed to be addressed, not because I plan on leaving or want to leave or anything like that. Every company has their cross to bear. And lately it seems like, a few of the things at Prime might be taking a little bit longer than they should to get implemented. So I said something about that. I say some shit about my fucking kid all the fucking time. That doesn't mean I want to get rid of him. Ain't that right, Mason? Sometimes you're slow as a motherfucker, right? That doesn't mean I want to get rid of you.
When I'm not working, yeah.
What's that?
When I'm not working, yeah.
What?
When I'm not working, yes.
Yeah, broke motherfucker. See, I'd say shit like that to them all the time. I don't want to get rid of them, right?
No.
Do you think I want to get rid of you when I'm like critical of some of the shit you do?
No.
There you go. Same thing with Prime. Not trying to get rid of Prime just because I don't. The technology around Prime, or the technology around Bitcoin, I think is very impressive to some degree. Just the fact that, I mean, it's very environmentally unfriendly, but the fact that it actually takes energy to produce a coin almost goes hand in hand with my concept about things that you buy now. Money spent is basically time, regardless of how you want to do it. It could be time paid up front or it could be time paid off in the end. People that spend a lot of money up front having fun in life possibly may not, they've used up all their time now, so they may not have time in the future. That's one aspect of the crypto thing that I think kind of makes sense, even though it's like stupid as far as environment and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it never made sense. But I think you could make money on it. All you need is to find a few more people stupider than you. You probably could do that out there where you live, Rich. You probably could. Yeah, so I've just been lazy since I've been back here. I actually have been, like I said. Oh, wait, Rich, if you're here, I got to show my bag because he was out there trying to say it was a man purse or something like that. But been trying to hit the gym every day for at least an hour of cardio. We got we would necessarily, Tim Travels or Terry might have used one of these walking into the courthouse. That's like a satchel. That's not a man purse right there. Well, yeah, I don't think crypto is ever gonna replace dollars. I think it has a place, but I don't think it's like if it wasn't a like if it was never a place to actually make money. Like this shit about people, these non-fungible or whatever they call them things, token. People paying all this money for these stupid ass little digital things that anybody. That is the dumbest shit in the world. I have no idea. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm the stupid one. But paying all this stupid money for these little ass like digital pictures and stuff, that is the dumbest shit in the world. Anyway, but yeah, like I was saying, I do think that there's like if there was no investment component to this and it was just a means to transfer funds and all that kind of stuff, then I think that I could be down with it to that degree. But sitting here looking at it from an investment standpoint, it just makes no sense to me. Got to get my expenses worked out. That's actually what I was supposed to do today, but I've been too lazy. Something will replace the dollar, but only after World War III. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen soon. But not to be talking about all this war and all this kind of stuff, but the dumbest thing that Russia ever did was exposing themselves as to how weak they actually are. Like they are the word, like they can't even like try to uh, scare anybody anymore with this weak ass showing that they got going on in Ukraine. And it's good for America to be over there. A lot of people aren't thinking about this, but just think about logistically what we're learning from sending all that stuff over there, getting rid of old ammunition, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of bonuses for us supporting them over there. Yeah, money laundering, all those kind of things. And that was the one thing that Charlie Munger at Berkshire was saying was he doesn't really want to be involved in anything that's used in those kind of instances. Joe Rogan is pretty entertaining, but whether it's good or bad, I probably wouldn't be getting my information on what Joe Rogan is saying as far as as far as like he has a lot of people because I will listen to him on occasion. He has a lot of people on there, but a lot of them people that are on there are just downright crazy. Uh yeah, Tip is a little jacked up right now. Actually, I've had a chance to get in there and do like an hour on the elliptical bike, stuff like that. So that's kind of helping a little bit on that, but still could be better. Well, right. So in some instances, I think that Joe Rogan is dumber than his guests, and oftentimes I think his guests are actually dumber than him with some of the stuff that they talk about. But that's one of the reasons why I don't have a problem with him because he is an equal opportunist. He will have stupid people on there and smart people on there. Like when he has smart people like Neil deGrasse Tyson on there, I really listen. Maybe David Goggins, I might listen. But when he has like Jordan Peterson on there, or whatever that guy's name is, or this Tate, I tend to not listen. Man, I haven't watched the Hangover movie in so long. I don't even know what you're talking about as far as the Hangover movie goes. But one thing I will tell you, okay, honestly, when I would, I don't think crypto is going to do anything. I mean, there has to be, you know what? Like I said, the technology is all right. The NFTs are just absolutely like, what is like? I know I'm a little bit stupid. I'm a little bit out of the loop and that kind of stuff. I just can't see crypto doing like if the whole purpose of buying Bitcoin, let's say, is only based around somebody else being dumber than me and paying more for it in the future, that being the only way for that to go up in value. Who says I'm not going to be the dumb one holding on to it in the end? I just don't see crypto being it. Just there's nothing about it that I was kind of questionable about it at first, and then when I heard Warren Buffett talk about it, that kind of cemented it for me. And that doesn't mean that he could be wrong because he said he's been wrong before. But what that means is I'm taking people that have a little bit more experience than I have just in finances. And if I lose out because I listen to the most, one of the most profitable investors of all time, then I lose out because I listen to one of the most profitable investors on time. If I lose out because I listen to a bunch of people that have never really invested much shit in their life and it goes up, then I'm willing to take those chances. Hey, Rich, okay, I could see you pimping a fanny. You know what? I would actually have more trust in me pimping fanny packs and Crocs out there uh, down in the fashion districts in New York than actually buying some of that bullshit. But what is the value of having the shit? I just don't understand. Like, what makes it go up other than somebody being dumber than you to buy it? I don't get it. Like I said, I could be wrong on it. Warren Buffett could be wrong on it, but they made a hell of an argument to me on that, and they got way deeper in it than I would have even expected them to get into it. And listen, my life at this point is not about speculation. If I'm within a 10-year horizon of retiring, I'm not trying to speculate on a fucking market. I want something that's going to be as close to proving gains as I can have. I'm not out here trying to gamble on shit like that. Maybe a little bit of money here, $400 here. I might take I might throw a little something at some speculation, but I'm not going all in on something that's just speculation with nothing to back it up. In 10 years, too? Like I'm trying to be done with this shit in 10 years? My prime orientation roommate is snoring like a freight train and smells like a middle school locker room. If I ever do a company orientation again, I almost paid for my own room in Salt Lake City, and that's a commitment right there because you're talking a good, 21 whatever days out there. Sometimes you just got to tell somebody, hey, bro, you're coming in a little bit too strong today. I don't want to hurt your feelings or anything, but I'm just keeping it real. Leah, still 10-year horizon. I can't gamble like that. And if you gamble like that on crypto and you fucking ride off into the sunset in 10 years, I will be very happy for you. All right, Indo Bennett Stevens on the road for a month solo trucking. Think about coming to Prime in 6 months. They treated me like a number. There are plenty of people at Prime that tell you that they're treated like a number. So don't come here because you don't want to get treated like a number. Now, the way to not get treated like a number is to not act like a number. You have people that act like they don't want to get treated by a number, but they've never taken the time out to develop relationships with the people that would call them the number. So sometimes that takes effort. People want all the rewards without putting in the work. So if you come to Prime, put in the work, develop relationships with your fleet manager, payroll, logs, all that kind of stuff, you'll be good to go. I couldn't be happier, even though I just said some critical stuff about him in the previous video or two. All right, Sal's talking about Section 8 housing. Now, here's what I will say about that. Me and my dad follow two different investment strategies when it comes to buying homes and stuff like that. He did focus more on Section 8, and to me, that did not seem like the correct path that I wanted to go down. The reason I didn't do it, let's see. All right, the reason I chose not to go Section 8 was a couple different reasons when it comes to renting homes. First of all, I looked at the mentality of a Section 8 renter, the average. Now, I could say, you know what, these guys are great. These guys came in and they used Section 8 for what it was supposed to be used for, and now they're bouncing. So now if you get a string of those people that actually do what you need to do, you have a revolving door of people that you need to, because they're working the system correctly. The people that don't work the system correctly, now you have an entirely different problem. You have somebody that doesn't really give a shit about anything. They're going to treat your house the same way. So I look at when I had a couple going at the same time, and he was like, he never mentioned Section 8, but I just saw it from afar, and I was seeing what he was dealing with, my quality of renters. Like, my quality of renter is excellent, right? I mean, I've never had a bad renter. Meanwhile, I'm looking at him. He might be making a little bit more a month, but he was looking at, and trust me, my dad is one of the smartest people out there, so I'm not saying that he was dumb doing it, but he looking at what he had to go through, police breaking through, pepper spray in the house, all this kind of, it's just like just shit I never had to deal with. So I might have been spending or making a little bit less a month on my rent, but I had less turnover, which kind of evened that stuff out. And it's the same way I look at putting somebody in my truck. I'm not trying to pay somebody the minimum that they'll take to drive for me, because I don't want to be going through drivers all the time. Hope I made my point. All right. Do DMs get paid by my pay? Okay. You're at Prime, your dispatcher gets paid on, the way it was explained to me was, your dispatcher gets paid on anything that would be relevant to an owner operator on his own making business, or in his own business. So that would be profitability, breakdowns, time off, whatever it is. I didn't really get into it with them, but critical. I don't know how they get paid on all these metrics, but that was kind of what was explained to me. And profit was one of them, because when I spoke to my fleet manager and I said, listen, I'm never going to turn down low because of money. I'm just not going to ever do that. But if I turn down a low, there's going to be a reason. And, these might be some of the reasons or whatever. And he just said, Lyle, if a low comes across and it's paying X amount of money, I'm going to have to send it to you and you're going to have to turn it down, because I just got to take that shot. So your fleet manager gets paid off your performance. But when it comes to fleet managers, and I've said this to people, I would rather be bad than unnoticed. There's nothing worse than being unnoticed. Like my goal would be to be the guy that, is looked at as, this is the guy. Don't have to worry about him. We put him on a low. We forget about him, all this kind of stuff. You call up, they know who you are, whatever. But I would rather be the guy that the fleet manager almost hates, doesn't want to deal with, none of that stuff, than somebody that's just like silently riding that middle wave. Yeah, your driver. I'm pretty sure most driver managers, fleet managers, whatever, are going to get paid on basically your performance of the truck. I know, and I'm going to say it now. I had a guy send me a message that a fleet manager had sent him. Now, keep in mind that I've been staying out longer than I want to. Let me get a little bit more, then we're going to get back on this story. Give me a second. All right, so I had a guy. All right, let me see. I had a guy that sent me some correspondence between him and his fleet manager. And his fleet manager said, now this guy stays out for like 5 months at a time. So he tells his fleet manager, I'm planning on taking off, I think it was either 10 or 12 days or something like that for home time. The fleet manager sent him a message back saying, I think you need to reconsider. I'm not sure how that would have worked with me, but I need to reconsider about taking 10 to 12 days off. First of all, another reason to have a bunch of money in your emergency fund is so they could always look at that and be reminded that you don't need it. But that I thought was highly disrespectful. And I've heard other stories about this particular fleet manager as well. So I think sometimes you have certain, and I don't know this for sure. This could be with any company that may get paid the same way. But you may have all these fleet managers. Some of these guys have larger fleets to where they're able to absorb. Like for me, if I'm taking off 25 days, 28 days, whatever it is, 25 days, he's able to absorb it because his fleet is so big. But if you have some of these guys out here that are rookie fleet managers that only have, have lower numbers on their fleets or whatever. One guy takes off a certain amount of time. That's going to directly influence how much money is getting made, potentially. I don't know how it works, but that's the only way I could see that being that big of an issue. But I personally couldn't run under a fleet manager like that. I'm lucky I got the fleet manager I got. Couldn't be happier. All right, Dexter starts orientation in Pittston. Any advice? Yeah, I'm a bit anxious. Sleep, man, sleep. Because when you get out there on that trainer's truck, it's about to get real, real, real. Especially in winter, too. Yeah, sleep now because you won't be sleeping much later. Well, I guess if you get shut down because of snow, you'll be able to sleep. Sleep and study. At the Luna. Indo, are you with... Okay, Stevens. I heard about the Luna. Yeah, I've heard that place is not the place to be staying. That's a good point. Okay, so Leah says that's a good point. I think there's enough to keep me from being invisible. Yeah, usually I will help our fleet manager regardless of what the situation is. If it's something that he needs help with, even if it's going somewhere that I don't want to go or any of that kind of stuff. So anything to help him out, obviously. Or if, there's some other fleet managers that cover for him. Jodine, Jennifer Froman, Caleb, a few other people I go out of my way for. Yeah, it's getting harder to get on with Prime. There's a time that, as a matter of fact, I know this because my recruiter had called me and she said, if you have anybody that's thinking about coming to Prime, tell them that they're going to do better off coming to Prime and getting their CDL through Prime than going somewhere else and getting their CDL and then trying to come through Prime, because they were trying to hire people that started the process with Prime. If they're going to have to train them, then having somebody else get their CDL, come to Prime, then just go to TNT, things like that. So that's been a recent change that I've seen. And then it may be changing again now because things are loosening up a bit. And I think if you're coming to Prime with at least 6 months experience, that has been easier, but I think they're tightening up a little bit on people that have maybe been with Prime that left Prime. I think they're getting a little pickier on that from what I've been seeing. Did I find a benefit to meeting with fleet manager logs and sales when I stop in? Absolutely. I don't look at this as like the trucking industry kind of. I look at it like it's like regular business, banking, mortgages, whatever it came from. It's like everything was built on relationships. So every time I go in there, it's just like, yeah, I mean, people know you. I've always felt like nobody could really, I could be wrong, but nobody could tell me any different. If I have a relationship with a fleet manager, I got 2 trucks in the same area. One truck, there's a couple of points I want to make on this. I got uh, maybe got a slam dunk for one, slam dunk for a truck in the area. Am I going to give it to the guy that I really don't know anything about, or that's an asshole, or the person that I got a relationship with? Likewise, I think if you have to turn down a load every now and then, just to turn down a load every now and then, because just like I mentioned before, you could have two trucks in the area, fleet manager have a shitty load, and be like, man, I got this shitty load, but I got this guy over here that, maybe turns down, has the propensity to turn down a load, or I got this other guy over here that never turns down a load. You know what? It's just like whatever it takes to get it off my desk. Let me take the path of least resistance, give it to this dude, and just move on rather than me sending it to this guy that I'd rather send it to that I may not like, but me having to kind of put in more effort to actually get it off my desk because he might turn it down. So, that's kind of my thoughts on that. I think turning down a load every now and then just to turn it down makes sense. See, I've never been able to get used to. I mean, if I'm sleeping in a moving truck, and usually I am absolutely running. So when I was with Land Shark Transportation, we weren't running as hard as with the other people that I've ran with, but it's sometimes a challenge to sleep. Sometimes it depends on who the student is and stuff like that, and what kind of loads we're doing. But it's hard to do sometimes. Well, have I been home since Christmas? I got home on the New Year's Eve. I don't plan on leaving out till like the 28th, 29th, 30th, somewhere. I haven't heard when this next truck is coming in yet. So a lot of it depends on that. But at least till the 25th. Speaking of money, are you making any money off your YouTube videos? I've never really made money off this trucking channel. Cooking channel probably spun off $36,000 last year without me doing a video. So this channel has never been about making money from that. But that number is going to go down and down and down every year because I'm not posting anything on that cooking channel, which is kind of hard to see because that channel was making a lot of money and bringing in a lot of free shit. Grills, air fryers, pressure cookers, skillets, whatever people are sending shit so fast. They were always sending shit. Freight is slow. Prime will be picky. I piss sales off too much to let me come back. All right, let's see, Dexter. Been watching a lot of your content on TNT, and your relationship with your trainer seems to be critical in making the experience fruitful. I'm prepared to listen and learn. See, sometimes it depends on, it's not just you, right? There needs to be two people involved in this. So you could go into this relationship with your trainer, which I did with the best intentions. And sometimes it may just not work. And you have to be that person that's capable of identifying the problem and not either recognizing if you can work through it, and if you can't, identify that as soon as possible, get off the truck and move on to another trainer. I know people have gone through 3 trainers, 4 trainers. Yep, Justin Jung said he knows somebody that got a CDL elsewhere, and Prime said get 6 months experience and then come back. Okay, Stevens has the KW hookup. They got them T680s. Them things ain't even got as much shit in them as Peterbilt's. It's the same fucking thing with less shit. At least the Peterbilt, you get the wood grain interior with the little silver stuff in there. You get, man, don't even get me started on the difference between a Kenworth and a Peterbilt. Now, I'm sure some of them can be specced out a little bit more, but and they, a lot of the ones at Prime begin to have the little gray bumper on the bottom. Them trucks when they got the gray bottom on the bumper, that's like the ad unit. When I sold cars back in the days, that's when you knew that was the car to sell. That was the one that was on sale. That gray bumper on it. Yeah, Rancho Deluxe is correct. If you ran hard with your last fleet manager and really didn't have a lot of issues with them, because they're going to go to that fleet manager and basically ask them about you coming back. Trucking is about who you know and not what you know. I agree to that to some extent, not the same as I would in business, like real business, but I do think it's okay to be known to some degree. As a side note, truckers are some of the most down to earth folks. You know what some truckers are? Is they're the most praise grubbing motherfuckers out there. You ain't ever seen anybody want so much praise for doing their damn job as the average trucker. All right, well, welcome back. If that's where you're coming back to, I had to let my med card go and have to get my CDL again, and they're taking me back. Well, that's good because I know at least one person that didn't get to come back. Man, Prime ain't going to no W990s and W9s and 389s and all that kind of stuff. That's just not going to happen because it would just take too much work for them. Like if everything was a 389 or everything was a W9, but when they have to know that all their trucks weigh X amount of weight. That everybody could pull these loads. Likewise with lightweights, they have certain lightweight contracts that they're allowed to load a little bit heavier. Yeah, shoot. See, Rancho Deluxe, he had such a good relationship with his fleet manager. His fleet manager's calling him. I thought the best Prime pre-trip videos was by a dude called Prime Driver Daniel. Personally, I thought those were the best ones. I don't know enough about Stevens. I did have a guy from Stevens maybe a year ago was talking to me like I was fucking Oprah about Stevens and him being a contractor, and he'd been in the hole for damn near 4 weeks and all this kind of stuff. And I was out in California, as a matter of fact, when I was talking to him, and he was asking me about Prime, and I really didn't know if he was just having them problems because of him or if it was a Stevens thing. So I tried to kind of play the middle in talking to him, but he was not a fan of the program, the Stevens lease program anyway. Melatonin and a weighted blanket. I got anything that could, I'm like Benadryl, uh, melatonin. I don't play with my sleep. If there's one thing I'm gonna get, it's gonna be some sleep. And people are like, I don't like taking like Z-Quil or Benadryl or anything, because I wake up groggy. Man, that is the best feeling ever to wake up in the morning and not know what day it is, like where you're at, like slobber kind of coming down and stuff. I love waking up like that. Couldn't beat it. What's up, Barry? Rich is talking about Myra, the driver of my other truck driving. Yeah, I told her to kind of slow it down. She actually just took a break. Because sometimes you got to save people from themselves. You don't need to bring anything to orientation. Maybe gloves. I would say that. They got the vest for you. Just bring some gloves and maybe, you might want to bring some warm weather gear, depending on where you're going to orientation. Twisted D, I just saw that you posted another live video. Okay, so when you in the truck on Friday, we're all going to go get the chosen one put on the back window. Yeah, do that because hey, it's already in the bag, man. If you guys didn't know, Rob Lowe already put the fix in for me on that. Because listen, here's what I told him. I said, listen, if I win $5,000, I'm gonna end up giving Myra some of that money just because she's my dog. But if I win a truck, I can't give half the truck away. So he's like, all right, I got you on the truck. All right, talking about Prime Driver Daniel's videos. I think he's excellent. Yeah, Rancho Deluxe. If I was training, you wouldn't have to be worried about no waterproof gloves. I mean, I generally am going to be having a ton of gloves on my truck, and usually I'm rolling with the good gloves, but they don't need to be waterproof because I ain't out there trying to chain unless I got caught totally off guard. We waiting that out. Prime Driver Daniel has made several people fail the test. I can't see where they would have failed the test at watching his videos, but I don't know. That's who I was kind of watching. I have the in-cab video on my channel from Prime Salt Lake City. It's a little bit different than Springfield. I actually have the inspector doing the video on my channel. If you were to type it, if anybody on here is going to Salt Lake City, if they just type in no hippie trucking in-cab inspection, the person giving that or doing that video that I'm filming he's the one that's actually going to be inspecting you in Salt Lake City. I don't think anybody should be teaching anybody how to back. I think that's a intimate thing if I was to send anybody to watch any backing videos, the channel it's not even a question. The best backing videos, My Trucking Skills. He does that. I make all my people that I'm going to be training watch that video just so they have an idea of just concepts, theory, things like that when it comes to back. And that dude is excellent. All right, Jerry Garcia Transport. When am I going to get the new Peterbilt? I haven't heard anything about it. So they're saying February. But I don't know that to be true either. Just look at the prime orientation pre-trip videos on YouTube. You know, I think there's a reason why I didn't like that one. It might have been the volume or the camera angle or something about the prime one that I didn't really like, but I don't remember. Yeah, TC, I already won the truck, man. It's a wrap. So you might win one of the other trucks. I don't know, but it's the Illuminati, man. Slowpoke TNT, what's going on? Nothing much, just out here chilling. Highway Alley, you back on the road yet? I know you were talking about taking some time off, or maybe some time off coming up. Do you pay for reefer fuel? Yes, we pay for reefer fuel. There is a credit that we can get, something like that, but I can't really explain that. We don't pay for 100% of the tolls. We pay for 78% of the tolls, and we get whatever the percentage is that Prime takes, we pay on the tolls. So we don't get charged 100% of the tolls. We don't make 100% of the detention, but we don't pay for washouts, which I've seen a lot of other people pay. Rancho was talking about having a chain up, going over Vale Pass. There's never a time that I'm going over Vale Pass in the winter. It's unpredictable. I'm gonna go down 40 to 70 or to 25, and I'm gonna come up from the south 100% of the time, unless I absolutely know there's not gonna be any snow. And I really can't say that there's not gonna be any snow, so I don't even go. Not Vale. In Colorado, should I live out here? I know what that's about. Oh yeah, see that's the problem with Vail is if you don't, and that's another reason I don't go, is once you get past a certain area on there, there's no like yeah, if they throw up the chain law, you can't just pull over and be like I'm gonna just pull over, wait it out. Once you're past a certain point, you gotta go. Christie's in California. Hope you're not up north in California. But Christy likes that Western 11. Fuck that. All right, John. I'll check you out later, man. Lee has another channel she learned backing from, Advanced Truck Backing Channel. How's the reefer division at Prime? Anything important of note beforehand? She's like this at Prime. You have reefer, flatbed, tanker, then you got intermodal. But it's sort of like, and this is what Junior Honduras told me back in the day. Hey, Lyle, he talks. Lyle, if you go to McDonald's, they ain't out there pushing the fish fillet, dog. It's all about that reefer. So, and a lot of people that are in flatbed are noticing that when they didn't get that Christmas bonus offered to them this year. Reefer division is excelente, I guess is the way I want to say it. Which detention bay was a better system? I haven't got detention in a long time, but when I was getting it, Lord have mercy, there's nothing better than free money. I love that. Rancho, I kind of disagree a little bit on that just because I know that my driver Myra learned all her backing from watching that video or watching videos on my backing or my trucking skills. And it's not that it gives you, it's not that it will teach you how to back, but it'll show you different reference points and things like that. And from a trainer's perspective, if I'm training somebody that's watched those videos, it's easier for me to relate what I want him to do once he's watched the video and heard the verbiage from that video. So it's not necessarily that it's necessarily going to, it'll teach you the concepts. How many tickets and accidents do I have? I don't know if he's talking to me or somebody else that might have put a comment. Personally, I don't have any. I've had some incidents. Christy, if you go to Oakland, you know your next load could be headed out over 80 going towards Reno, and I've been seeing nothing but, as a matter of fact, somebody just sent me a video going over 80, having to chain up. So I don't know if that's changed or not. $10 weeks is a little too long to be out there. How long are you going to take off when you take off, Allie? Justin Jung is the bread and butter of Prime. I agree. Reefer is steady baby. Agree with that. Tanker. I don't know much about Tanker, so I don't know. I mean, I do know I've seen people doing 400-mile washouts and crazy stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know anything about Tanker. I know that Rich's River Smoker trained with a Tanker driver and wasn't too impressed with it. But like I said, I don't know anything about it personally. Jerry Garcia, Transport. What is a good free CDL app to recommend? I think CDL Prep was the one that I used. Mr. Manners, can I go lease day one, 10 years plus experience? Well, if no, well, I've heard fleet managers request people to train. I don't get that. I've never felt that. So I'm just saying that I have heard that. You can go lease day one, and you could even go lease purchase day one, depending on the circumstances. All right. Jerry Garcia answered that question as well. Antonio Santiago didn't get a notification. Supposed to start trading on Monday. I took the last thing you want to be talking to your trainer about is even thinking about saying that you watched any of my videos or anybody else's videos. Don't mention that with your trainer. Okay, I think the only reason to do Tanker is to get a fuel job outside of Prime down the road. Okay, I can agree with that. And that's another reason to go tank or flatbed. If you actually want a career in trucking that you want to kind of escalate, flatbed is probably the way to go. If you're looking at really building a long-term career. Me, I'm at the end of it. I'm just trying to get through what I'm trying to get through. I'm not trying to build nothing. This is Alex, the one that you keep forgetting my name. All right, Alex, I got it. Leah's learning how to back. Taking 7 days off and rolling again. That's hard charging right there. Hey, Allie, you've been staying out of bad weather. I haven't really been looking at the app to see where you and Willie and I think Willie's in like what Utah or something right now. I don't know about Jarvis, anybody like that. I kind of try to look and see who's in worse situations than me. Haven't been on there in a while. I don't know anything about reefer hazmat tanker jobs personally. Well, shoot.
What do you think about?
Good.
What was good?
You made brownies.
I do not smell them.
Hey, bring me one. Okay, let's see. What does Jeremy say? Do you know what all you would need to purchase a house as a lease operator? Um, you're gonna need to probably have been doing it for 2 years. You're gonna need a profit and loss statement, last 2 months bank statements, personal and business if you got them separated out like that. Then other than that, it's just gonna be normal stuff: driver's license, uh, I mean, it's been so long since I've done that. I'm a little bit rusty on that. But what you're going to want to do is prove the money. They'll walk you through everything. Leah, I think Robert Lowe is a little misleading when he's talking about Valentine's Day. Maybe Easter, downhill after that. I took my last student last year, or not my last one, the one before the last one, April, late April. And we were still like encroaching like chain laws going through Donner Pass and stuff like that. So April or Valentine's Day is a little early. I know, ain't it? Let me also show again. The one that my wife did on her sewing machine. Boom! Look at that detail. You couldn't do better than that at the Prime embroidery shop right there. Boom! Look at that. All that detail in there. This was just came off Amazon. So this was just on here when I bought it. Okay. I think that being Dexter, Hey, there ain't nothing crazy in these brownies, is there?
No.
Okay, just making sure. Somebody asked a
You're
question.
so stupid.
Okay, what do you think crazy
Okay,
means?
I'm just making sure.
Like dark chocolate and.
All right, so Dexter, as far as being an owner operator or company driver, I think it's a mentality. It's not necessarily an environment. I would never not start a business or start as a company driver or lease driver because of the environment I'm in. That being said, I would want to have a certain amount of money set aside before I personally went lease. So, but the environment doesn't really have anything to do with it. I'm a proponent that the best time to get in any business is in a down market. 5 potential questions to ask a candidate that's going to run your truck. I don't know if there's any questions I'd ask. It's just, I think, why are you wanting to do it? Why do you want to drive my truck? You know, you hear all these people out here making millions of dollars leasing. Why would you want to do it? And usually what you find is there's some people that say, you know what, maybe I can make $600, $400 more a week, a week by having my own truck, but all that money is you can't look at all that as profit because there's gonna be something that's gonna take that money away at some point. A tow bill, tires, whatever. So if you really average it out, you know, you might make $200 or $300 more a week, averaged out over the long run, doing a lease once you've had a chance to lease long enough to actually do it. So if somebody says, you know what, I want the flexibility of doing it, uh, I want the benefits of a lease. I don't know if there's any questions I would ask. I know there's reasons why I would do it and reasons that I've had people come to me and do it, but I don't know what the questions would be to ask. Leah, I'm hoping the winter doesn't drag on either. Yeah, Twisted D, that is some good detail on that embroidery right there. Uh, Mr. Ortiz, if I want a lease purchase, do I have to put down a down payment? Just keep it simple, 14 grand. Lease is paid off in 3 years. Or 4, depending on which plan you take. But we ain't doing no damn hats, man.
I'm so glad you agree.
Yep. Justin, I don't know anything about power only at Prime. Yeah, that's slicker than a Mississippi Pimp. That was a good one right there. Skyline saying he's making $1,900 weekly. And that's kind of what I'm hoping that my drivers are making. Sometimes more, sometimes less. But then bonuses be kicking in. Oh, somebody said something about some hand lotion. I think I'm doing halfway all right. Not as bad as on the road.
Your legs, though.
My legs aren't on video.
Mom.
When you lease, how does health insurance work? Basically, when you lease, you get Richard for health insurance. And if you're not sure what Richard is, that's Dick. You get nothing. Get that shit on your own. Do company drivers get bonuses? Yeah, they do. It's like a fuel and safety bonus, something like that. So that's one of the reasons I give. I'm not going to go into what my bonus structure is and stuff like that. I usually don't do that unless there's somebody that's going to be hiring or something like that. But yeah, there is bonuses on the company side as well. And then I have my own bonuses. So health insurance, that's another reason, good reason to be company. Sometimes people don't look at the entire situation. All right, so Dexter, can you get an ACE lease after 1 year? In reality, you can do it right off the bat. I could have done it right off the bat. I know a couple people that have done it right off the bat. They don't really promote that because they don't really promote it. They usually say it takes 3 months or 6 months, whatever it is, to do the ACE lease. Listen, if you go in there and you have a bank account, you say, listen, I got this much money. I have enough money to cover it down. I got enough money for, some bad times. They're going to let you do it. Now, if you go in there and be like, you know what, I got like $16,000, that may not work. But my whole thing on the money thing, doesn't matter how much money you make. If you're not financially disciplined, the amount of money you make really has nothing to do with how much. Like, I firmly believe I could probably make $900 a week and still outperform a lot of people as far as building up what I'm trying to build up, because I don't spend money on dumb shit. And dumb shit is even just regular shit like cars and shit that most people make payments on. All right, let's see. Well, for most people, if I'm gonna, and I don't do it anymore, but if I was to tell somebody how much money I'm gonna make, I'm gonna include the money that's going into my emergency fund because I have total access to that account. So if I was to say, okay, I'm making 2,000 a week or 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, whatever that money amount is, that's gonna include. If I ever say anything about how much money I'm making, that's gonna include what's going into my emergency account. And I put 20 cents a mile in regardless. Every truck that's running, 20 cents a mile. So that's about $500 a week per truck. Okay, Twisted Big D, does the fuel surcharge cover the fuel cost? more than not. I don't know if that's a question or not, but yes, it usually does because the fuel surcharge is based, I think, on 7 miles a gallon. If you have to go through a toll, do they pay extra on the load to cover that? Or are you just completely out of luck? You sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but I will never avoid a toll road, whether or not it's getting paid or not, because I look at a toll road as convenience. You could, like, I try not to act like I'm broke out here driving. You know, you could be out here trying to avoid all the tolls and hitting all these back roads. You know what? No, I'd rather make a little bit less money, hit all the tolls, and, you know, have a nice little drive. It's not that tight. Slowpoke TNT's last comment makes a lot of sense to me. Mr. Manners spoke with the Prime Inc. lease op at a truck stop today, and he was solo and happy. I'm excited to join. I'm extremely happy with Prime, and I did a video where I was a little bit critical of a couple things they did, and people were asking, or saying if I was leaving or something like that. And even in that video, I said, I ain't going nowhere. You're going to have, it's not going to be sunny days every day. Rancho Deluxe. Okay. Yeah, Crazy Bags used to duck toll roads, and I never understood it. I'm not sure. The only thing that fascinated me about Crazy Bags was there is never going to be a time that I've ever spoke about me making X amount of dollars to when things come to an end that my first inclination is to take a Greyhound somewhere. Like, I will never take a Greyhound anywhere. So I'm not, there must have been some mismanagement going on somewhere, because if you've been driving trucks for, let's even say, a year, the fact that anybody's driving a Greyhound at that point, whether it's orientation in another place or they got fired, now they go home, that's just something I'm not doing. Jerry Garcia, I don't even think I'm going to get out on the grill the entire time I'm here, but I am about to go to sleep here in a bit. Rich says he's going to be ordering his lease purchase really soon. I'm like all about that shit and they're getting off the pot myself, but I'm glad that you are taking time to do it and try to do it right, not going sooner than later. Have I talked to JJ the trucker lately? Man, I talked to JJ about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And he was doing fine. Still, he was at Landstar. He just got off a vacation in like Italy or something. Italy, I think it was Italy, Rome, all that. And he's been chilling. He's been doing all right. So I don't think he's been failing, but JJ never really needed to make all that money anyway. Not that I don't think he is. And one bit of advice that I'd like to give people that are still here watching this is the goal is to put yourself in a position where you don't need to make all that money. You know, like I said, people that aren't here earlier. Personally, myself, I got trapped in the car business. I could not leave the car business for what in my early 20s, I sold cars. I was making, back in the days, $50,000, $60,000 a year, which was good back in the early 90s. And then when it was time to leave, I hated it. I couldn't leave because there was nothing that I could do that was going to match that. And 60,000, what? Then is probably like 75, 80 now, whatever. I could not match that. And it took for me to realize, you know what, I was buying a lot of stupid shit, cars and going in debt and doing all stuff. And it took me from the time that I realized that I didn't want to be in the car business, but I couldn't leave, to actually the time I got out was about 2.5 years, just because I made stupid financial decisions. Because I was gonna have to take a pay cut. Learn to live on less. I learned the hard way. Is lease purchase cheaper, weekly or monthly payments? I hear no, you don't get bumped to 82%. Maybe if you go to the advanced fleet side, the payments on a regular lease and lease purchase is going to be pretty similar, maybe about $90 to $100 less a month on a lease purchase, because the APU is part of the payment as opposed to an additional payment. So your weekly costs are going to be about $100 less a week on a lease purchase. Riding the Greyhound was the scariest experience in my life. Me and my boy, this is a truck driver now, we used to ride like Greyhounds up to Los Angeles. We used to take what? We used to take the Amtrak from San Diego to LA. But when we were up in LA, we used to drive the bus around. And every now and then we'd take a Greyhound. Man, yeah, that was scary back then. We're talking about like back when it was real. I got some stories of, might have to get him on here one day about some of that Compton type shit that was going on back then. Back before we even knew what Compton was, because we weren't from there. Is the APU still forever covered? I don't think it's forever covered, because I know I've got hit with APU payments on Myra's truck, my other driver's truck. So I know it's not forever covered. Troy Allen, I was always told you can't live a champagne lifestyle on a beer budget. Yeah, but see, I'm trying to flip that, where I'm trying to live a beer budget on a champagne, or live a champagne lifestyle. Whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to live well below my means, so if some shit happens, I'm good to go. And I think I just want to be done. And I think we could be done like now. It might take to do some stuff that I don't want to do, that I know my wife wouldn't want to do, to be done. But we're close to being able to do that.
Your wife what?
I said, I think we could be done, like, and just retire, possibly. But it would cause to do some shit that I know that you ain't ready to do yet.
Like what?
Like sell this house and go buy a house in Springfield or Tulsa or somewhere where you could buy some shit for $300,000 cash, have no payments on it, while you leave your daughter out here with no backup and shit like that, and cut your spending back and go buy stupid shit. And yeah, there's money there.
I'm not leaving my grandbaby.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
That's why you knew you could say that.
That's
We'll
good.
just bring them with us. They'll be able to afford.
Listen, I'm not raising motherfuckers. For those of you guys who don't know, I brought this up earlier in the chat or in the thing today.
And your grandbaby can see this video later, so.
Well, and I'm not, and trust me, if my grandbaby saw the video, hopefully they would be,
My papa loves me.
So here you go, right here. This was the news that got thrown at me when I came home, all right? So I wasn't expecting this shit. So, daughter's gonna be having a baby, all this kind of shit. So I know that my wife wouldn't be doing the move and all that kind of stuff that, would take to do it right now.
Don't either.
Oh, I would fucking be gone in a heartbeat. Seriously. But the conversation I'm gonna have with this young lad is that this time you can't skip the struggle. I'm not here to support motherfuckers, anything like that. It's you're gonna have to put in that grind. I'm not working harder for your ass than you're working for yourself. So anyway, that's that. Uh, Heck, Rock, can you pay ahead of schedule? I'm sure you can. I've never done it. Just had it taken out. I don't know how cool that is or not, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Uh, I'm trying to see this last comment. Do you training for more money? How does Prime pay? Yeah, you can make a lot of money as a trainer at Prime, but I wouldn't go into training thinking that that was what the purpose would be for, because you can be very disappointed if that's the reason you're getting into training. Because I've known people that got into training and they said, "Oh man, you know what? You can make all this money training, and next thing you know, boom, your training makes a turn, and it's too tight, and it like scrapes along one of them yellow poles and puts a little scrape all the way down the reefer. That's $500 right there. If they actually hit your truck and it goes back to your trailer, that's $1,000 deductible. So boom, you got hit with $1,500 deductible. Now you may not be able to make the load like the guy that I knew that this happened to. So you can't make the load. You got to give up the load. So you lost out on part of the load. $500 deductible for the trailer, $1,000 deductible for the truck, and you got to pay for like hotel and all that shit for not only you. Now listen. If I'm a trainer and that shit happened to me and this student are gonna be in the same fucking hotel room. But no matter how you break it out, hotel room on top of that. So let's say it takes let's just say it takes 4 days to get the truck out of the shop. You got 4 days, let's say $100 a day, $400. If your lease purchase, you get richer. You get none of that. So you get nothing. At least if you're a regular lease, you're gonna get some like breakdown pay, which is gonna be about the equivalent of your truck payment. But you can lose money very quickly training. I would not go into it just looking at it like that. Rancho, I'm not that easy. I mean, yeah, I don't know about that training. In Prime, we don't get paid by miles, we get paid by revenue. So basically, what we do is we'll run for the week. They say this is your revenue for the week. You pay out your student. Let's round it off to $1,000. You pay all the rest of your expenses, and then you keep what's left of that. So it has nothing to do with miles. We don't chase miles at Prime. And I don't even have my company drivers chasing miles at Prime. If they do a load that's short miles and is paying X amount of dollars, then I'm going to cut them in on some of that as well. Congratulations, Grandpa. My daughter made me Grandpa. I feel old. See, I'm at least 54. Yeah, but me and this dude, we're going to have a nice little conversation just so he understands that I'm not expecting to be, I'm expecting like some results. I'm not expecting to be, you're the man of the house. You got to handle it. I mean, you can't skip the struggle. You got to put in that work, whatever. If it takes you to get another job or do whatever you got to do, or you got to do all that. Can you give the grandkids some sort of a loud instrument like a Frozen themed flute? You know what I can give that kid, and I will be doing that from the very beginning. So, some sound financial advice at an early age. Rancho, a lot of people train for the money. To me, it's not even worth the money, or I would have a trainee on my truck all the time. I've mentioned this before in your next statement, Rancho. Multiple industries, many people confuse experience and years with the ability to teach. Those two things have nothing to do with each other. I agree with that. I'm enjoying teaming instead of training. I can sleep much better. I hear you on that, Christy. You'd sleep even better if you weren't on that West Coast. At Stevens, you got to train to make the money, from what I've heard. As far as the training went, Justin, I trained the first student to pay it back. Second student, I trained because I wanted to help my fleet manager. Third student I trained was somebody that kept requesting me. And then the last one was I had another trainer reach out to me because she was going and getting some surgery done and whatever, and wanted to make sure her student ended up with somebody that was decent. All right, Peg Leg, there you go. We can go ahead and bury him. Yeah, Lee, I wish somebody would have told me about it too. You know, it took me it didn't take me a long time. I had people early in my life that were, I was able to see it. So that's one thing I can say. Unlike myself giving direct advice to, my kids and stuff like that, I was able to see it through my dad. So I was able to see, okay, he's making money from this. He's buying property. I was able to see it, maybe not as direct as somebody giving me like a blueprint. Like, hey, if you save $100 a week when you start off at 25 years old, you're going to have $1 million by X amount of time. But if you just start 10 years later, it's going to take, X amount of years more than that. So, but anyway, shit, this is 2 hours. I'm about to get off here, go to bed real quick. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. And I'm sorry about that, Leah. Now's a good time to kind of catch up. I tell you, before I get off here, I was very lucky in certain situations where things could have gone one way or the other. I made a lot of mistakes, and I still held on to that one condo. I probably would be a couple $100,000 ahead. Well, maybe not a couple, 250, at least $100,000 ahead by keeping that. But there's something about having a paid off place that makes me feel very content. And one of my properties is paid off completely, so I could always cash that in at any time. And I got the best renters in the world in that. Peace of mind. Yep, that is the thing. That is the reason why, it's the money versus the peace of mind. Now, I may train in the future It ain't gonna be in the winter. It just ain't gonna be in the winter. I'm sorry. Uh, it may be in the future, but it's not. It's gonna have to be a perfect situation. I'm not the type to be like, let me make myself open to training and then just have somebody at Prime just throw somebody on me and be like, here they are. I mean, I've had that happen and I've been lucky, but I've seen it where people aren't that lucky. All right, let me get off of here. I'm gonna roll out, go to sleep, and I gotta get my expenses done for last month, and then I know I still have a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks before I get back out on the road again. But I am gonna start packing up before I leave, and just so I can really truly relax. All right. Anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe. I'm out.